Today, I've decided to talk about how you can prepare for a home care agency survey. DHSR calls it a survey. We may call it an audit. So over the last several weeks, I've been working with several clients that have asked me to come in to look at their operations to see how things are going and to give them some suggestions as to how they can be better prepared for a survey or an audit. So that's what I wanted to do with you all today. It's all about being organized. So what you can expect is that most of the time, the survey will be unannounced. Even if it's a regular survey, they will not let you know that they're coming. And also, you will often get a survey if the individuals are coming to work a complaint. Say one of your clients or one of your employees called in a complaint and DHSR comes to work that complaint, they'll come and look into that situation, and then they may go ahead and do an audit as well. I've seen that happen. So when the surveyor comes, what I've noticed that they've done, and I had several during the operation of my business, they came and when as soon as they came to the door, they had a business card in hand and they said, I'm so-and-so, I'm from DHSR. Their business card looks very official. It has a seal on it. And they will let you know that they're there to do a survey. So, make sure you look at that information and at that point that you need to respond to whatever their requests are. One of the first things they're going to ask you for is to give them your client list. They don't really say active clients because you'll probably have some on there that are inactive because they'll want to see those too. But they want a client list that they can look at, and usually they will go down that list and randomly choose those clients that they would like to see. So make sure at all times that you are keeping an accurate list of all of the clients that you're working with. And I would say you probably should have a list that only has the client's names and date of birth and things like that on there, and not a whole lot of other information because they're just asking you for a list. So if you can pare down the information on there and just give them the name, the date of birth, maybe the admission date, that would be good. But one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to give too much information away that they're not asking for. And then as far as the employees that they will look at, they usually choose those from the clients. Say if you have Miss Jones and Miss Thompson on your list and they choose them, they may ask for the records for those two employees that are working with that client. They usually don't ask you for the employee list. They go from the client and start there. It's key when they come in that you promptly respond. If they say we want a client list, have that ready. So I'm letting you all know you need a good record of your clients, a list of them, so that you can pretty much hand them that and let them go ahead and go to work. Also, when they ask you for records, get them to them promptly so that they're not wasting their time, because you don't want them to be frustrated for any reason. It is important that you give the surveyor a private place to work. If it is in your corner office, wherever you give them to work, you put them there, get them set up so that they have room to spread out and look at what they need to look at. And also just keep in mind, when they are in your office, you don't want people shouting back and forth about this client or that client, because everything is supposed to be HIPAA compliant. Now, I know that everyone in your office hopefully works there and they've been checked and they're employees, but you need to keep clients' information confidential. Give the survey a private place to work, but it's not a normal day. If the surveyor is in your office, then you're not hollering across saying, so-and-so didn't go to work last night, their car broke down, such and such. You can convey that information, but you need to be discreet. Now that we have text, that's a much easier way to do that, to let people know or to pass information. Just a reminder right here, there should be no client list hanging on the wall in your office. Not any place should you have a list of clients employees or anything. Those things need to be binders or on the computer, but make sure there's nothing hanging up in the office that shows anyone, the clients and employees that you have. Also, make sure you will have your license. Make sure your DHSR license is displayed. And also that the name of your business is prominently displayed in the office. One thing that I did is I had a little small foyer with a little table and a lamp. I actually put the name of the business in a frame, just a bold type, put it in the frame so that they could see that, especially if the name of your business, it should be outside somewhere on the door or on the marquee, but make sure that inside your business is prominently displayed as well. So every time we talk about this, I'm going to now go into the areas that I believe they'll look at that are important for you to work on. You know, they're going to look at that plan of care. Once they pull those clients, they're going to want to see what's in that plan of care. Make sure that your 5 ADLs have been addressed for each one of those clients: bathing, dressing, eating, toileting, and mobility. You all know what those are. Your RNs should know, but make sure that that has been addressed. Even if they don't need help in that area, it needs to show that someone assessed it. And then after you mention those 5 ADLs, you need to say, what is the level of assistance? If they don't need help with eating, then it's that they're independent. So you all find those levels, and we've talked about them many times. Make sure each one of those ADLs addresses what level of assistance that client may need. And from that, they will look at the 5 ADLs and the level of assistance and decide, should this client have an aide that's on the nurse aide registry, or can they just have a regular in-home aide that's not on the registry? And we've gone over that many times. You all have that information, and your RNs should certainly be on top of that, because they will determine that and make sure that you assign those clients appropriately. So that's what I had for the plan of care. That is important. And you know that that gets reviewed every 90 days, or whatever the amount of time is that you visit those clients. It's being reviewed, and if it needs to be changed, it needs to be changed. One of the other areas of deficiency that they're finding is that the background checks should be done. They're finding areas where sometimes they are not done. So my suggestion is that when you start to onboard your employees, that you have a checklist as to everything that gets done for every employee, and maybe a set of forms or procedures so that all of those are checked off for each employee. And if you have paper files, never file a form that has not been completed. If the background check has not been done, don't file that away, because once it gets in that file and it's in the file drawer and it's out of the way, you're not going to look back at it until a time like this, when it could really be a problem if it wasn't done. Those background checks should be done. If you're using the SBI or someone like that, they should be done within 5 days of you hiring that person. Preferably when you hire those people ahead of time. If you know you're going to assign them a client, go ahead and do their background check. I know it costs you to do that, but the best thing to do is to go ahead and do it, so you don't get caught with having it done too late or whatever. When the background check comes back to you, make sure that you look at it, because sometimes you have people come into your business and they are just fine. They've been working in the industry, and you think, oh, everything is perfect, but sometimes it isn't. When you run that background check, sometimes you'll be surprised as to what you might see. You all also know that there are some infractions, some things that these employees may have done in the past where you cannot hire them to work, for your business. So make sure you're aware of that. So the key is that you have someone responsible to review those background checks, so that if action needs to be taken, that it gets done. And then there's still a lot of issues on surveys with healthcare personnel registry reporting. That means that everyone that you hire you should go to the healthcare personnel registry and check them. It does not matter that that person is not on the nurse aid registry. Whoever they are, if they're going to provide care, you need to check the nurse aid registry, because there are some individuals that are not on the registry and they have had some type of an infraction. They did something, it's been investigated. And if the findings are substantiated, is what they say, they will have that in the healthcare personnel registry, even though they're not on the registry as certified. And they don't call them certified anymore. They just say on the registry, not on the registry. Make sure that you check everyone. And if there's any red flags, usually if there is something in there that has happened, it will kind of briefly tell you what it is, and it'll say either it was substantiated or not substantiated. And you know that when you go in there and find that, you're supposed to print that information, because there's a confirmation number that you get that says you went in on today, November 11th at whatever time, and you check them. Print that off and keep it. Also, you should each year, when you get ready to do their evaluation, or at whatever point you want to do it, I would say you do that each year, because a lot of these aides are not only working for you, they're working in the nursing home, they're working at other home care agencies, and something may have happened at another agency that didn't happen at yours, but you need to know that so that you stay on top of, make sure you're hiring the right people. And then there are guidelines. If you find that if there is a complaint against one of your caregivers, there are guidelines for reporting. There's like a 24-hour report and a 5-day report. You all have that in your policies and procedures. Make sure you follow that. This is an area that a lot of agencies get caught on, is they don't report it in time. They don't start the investigation and follow those guidelines. So look in your policies and procedures and make sure you're taking care of that as well. And then it's key that I mentioned, don't file a form or don't put the employee's paperwork away, or the client, until everything is complete. Make sure that your employee records are complete and there's no forms that should be in there that are not there or that are incomplete. And then have a consistent filing system. It's very frustrating to go in for a survey and a client has several different types of forms from this client or this employee. They're inconsistent. If a surveyor comes in and sits down and you hand them 5 files for 5 clients, and everything is in the same place, the date of birth is in the same place, the plan of care is in the right place, the supervisory visits, that bodes very well for you. Or with employees, they can see they can go right to a certain point to see that you did the background check, or that they had their TB test, or that they declined their hepatitis B. Make sure your system is consistent, because what I found is that if the surveyor comes in and they have to look for things and they can't find it, and they're constantly going to get someone to say, can you come and show me this? They're going to start saying it's a deficiency and it's not there, when it may very well be there, but if it's hard to find, it doesn't matter. And then there's many things for employees that you have to keep track of. As I said, TB testing, evaluations, in service, you need to have a follow-up procedure for updating those. So, because once you hire that person and they've worked a year or whatever, there's some things you need to do, such as doing their evaluation. Then I mentioned rechecking the healthcare personnel registry. So get a good follow-up system for those things so that you can make sure you're doing it. And here they are right here, the TB, the healthcare personnel performance evaluation, and there may be other things too. So that's basically what I had prepared for you all today. If you all have any questions about what I just went over, we'll do that. I also wanted to provide my disclaimer that I gather this information and provide it for you all on a monthly basis. I try to make sure that it's accurate, but before you change anything in your agency, any of your procedures or how you do things, you make sure you go to the authority that governs you. If it is labor law, if it is DHSR, you go to them before you make any changes in your procedures based on the, the information that I've given you here. All right, so I'm ready to take questions if there are any. We are recording today, so I will post this to our YouTube channel.
Hey, Miss Patty.
Hello?
Hey, did you send this attachment email?
The PowerPoint?
The PowerPoint, yeah.
No, I did not. I will post this entire video to the YouTube channel, and of course, everything I showed will be on there. And I'll send you all a link to that, as I do every month. I think, Gabby, this is your first time, but we send you a link to the video once it's uploaded. Any other?
I'm not sure if I missed anything because I couldn't hear you from the beginning. Did you go over any important information?
You didn't hear the beginning, is what you just said?
Right, I think for the first 5 or 6 minutes, I couldn't hear
Okay,
you.
well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this video to the YouTube channel, and you will be able to watch the entire video. Yes.
Hi. So do they send out anything and saying that we having a survey for our home health care, or how would we know if they'll just come?
They will just come. The last one that I got, I didn't live far from the office. I lived like 5 minutes away. So that particular day, I wasn't quite ready to leave. It was probably about 5 or 10 minutes, but I got a phone call. And the gentleman said that he was at the agency. He was from the state. That's all he would say. And he said that he was there, he didn't say a survey. He just said, I'm from the state. And what time are you coming? So I said, I can be there in 10 minutes. Well, when I got there, he was there for a survey. They do not tell you anything. They do not announce it. So that's why you have to keep things in order at all times, because you never know when they're coming.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's me again, Miss Patty. I have lots of questions. All right, I know you just went over everything for the onboarding for employees. So what you went over, that's everything that we would need for hiring a new employee? Is that everything we would need and everything we need to have in their file?
No, I did not go over the things they would need in their file. I was just highlighting some things that I know that the surveyors will look at, and there are often things that the agencies don't do a good job with. So that's what I did today.
Okay.
Is I just was highlighting some things. Those who have been in business a while, they know that it's 1,000 times more than what I went over today, but I was just highlighting those areas that the agencies tend to fall down on and that they don't pay attention to. And I was just making sure that you all do that, in reference to getting a survey.
Hey, Patty, this is Debbie. I got in late too, and I apologize for that. But you mentioned the HCPR,
Mm-hmm.
the healthcare personnel record.
Healthcare personnel registry. That's where you go on and check to see if someone is on the registry, and you get that printout that you keep to show that you checked it. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions about what I covered today or anything else? I'm prepared to answer if I can.
Can you hear me, Miss Patty?
I can. I just heard an echo of my voice first, though.
I wondered about the billing. Do they look at billing when they come out?
Okay, Paris, I have not known them to look at billing. If you are you bill Medicaid, they probably, I didn't know them to look at any billing, and I had several audits. They did not look at billing, because usually looking at the billing is generated by when Medicaid gets those reports. And I think I mentioned to you all before, now there's lots of intelligent software that can look at billing that is coming from agencies, and it can see those things that are way out of bounds. And that's kind of how they zero in on you to check to see something related to your billing. Now, if they come to you from one of those auditors related to billing, they're probably going to look at all of these other things I mentioned too. And when they look at you for billing, they're going to report any things that they find to DHSR and those other individuals. But as far as them looking at billing, they never looked at billing at all for any of my audits. Now, they may come strictly for billing and everything is on the table when they do that, but typically they do not do that.
Okay, thank you.
Crystal, did you have a question? Crystal Wolf?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
All right.
And I always appreciate you doing these. You're great, Patty.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Any other questions today?
Patty, I've got a couple,
Yes.
and you may have mentioned this at the beginning, or maybe when you said you'll never know when they're coming.
Right.
Like we just opened this year, like in the fall.
Mhm.
So can we expect them to come anytime, or do they give us a year, or what do you think? And my second question is, if they have findings, when they do the survey, how long do we have to correct those?
Okay, as far as them, when they may come, if you just got started, I don't think that you will get a survey, but Debbie, if you get a complaint, if you've been in business 1 week and you get a complaint, they may come.
Right.
So
yeah.
you never know when someone has logged a complaint and they'll come. But as far as you being in business a short period of time like that, probably not, but everything is possible.
Okay.
What was that second question?
The second one was how long, if they have findings, how long we have to correct them.
Yes, the last one I saw that an agency got, I believe, it's hard for me to say, but they give you a time frame. It's maybe 30 to, I think it's within 30 days, but each one will be different. And so if your list is very, very long of deficiencies, you have to go through and address every one, but they will let you know, Debbie, how much time you have before you address each one. They send you a long report that addresses everything, that tells you which client, what the situation is, and you have to answer back line by line for all of those.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. I hope you all are doing well. It's getting toward the end of the year. I know that you all are getting ready to do your license renewals. I hope that's going well. And also keep in mind that right at the beginning of the year, if you're on a 12-month cycle, make sure you do your annual agency evaluation. You all should have that, some type of way to do that. That there's in the policies and procedure, in the regulations, it tells you the things that they like to see you do, but just start getting ready for that too, that you do your annual evaluation. You should be doing a 90-day client review, but you need to do an overall annual evaluation. Any other questions before we go?
Hey, Patty, it's Frank. I did have a
Frank.
question, kind of really more to the group. Our nurse is feeling led to pursue her ministry more, commitment to that or full time. And so we are looking for a part-time nurse. I don't know if anybody else needs some additional time with a nurse or, knows anyone that they're not using, but we would love to entertain that. I put my number in the chat in case anybody else.
Okay, so you're saying if someone else has a nurse that needs some extra time, then maybe you all could share that nurse.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good idea. So you all look in the chat to get Frank's information and you all can communicate. And that's a great way to help each other and to give the nurse more time if she needs more hours or more visits. All right, thank you all so much. And for all of you that are veterans, you're a veteran, aren't you, Frank?
No. No.
I thought you were for
My
some reason.
dad. My dad is.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, happy Veterans Day to any of you who are and those in your family. And you all have a good day, and we will have our meeting next month. I think it's like Friday we will have it. So we'll get it in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will
Thank you. Same to
see you
you.
all next month.
Thank you, Miss
Thank
Patty.
you, Patty.
Thank
Same to
you.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.